Hello, truth seekers. Lawrence here, and welcome to Easy Enlightenment. So, these days, everyone is making everything spiritual. They give the label, put the meaning behind what they are aligned with. Example, reading a book is spiritual now. Walking, taking a walk is a spiritual. Washing the dishes is spiritual. Listening to the music is spiritual, or playing the music is spiritual, So we give meaning to it. The reason we give meaning to it as a spiritual is because, those things is helping people to forget the rest of the world or forget the problem or pain in their life. And when that happens, people think it's spiritual. It's not. What's happening when you're enjoying something is you are being part of the flow. To get to that flow, it took you some effort, some consistency in the process. You weren't able to find that enjoyment right away. You had to, be part of the process in a bits and pieces. You weren't enjoying 1 hour of reading right away. You weren't enjoying, being part of any flow right away. Think about washing the dishes. You didn't enjoy washing the dishes. You didn't enjoy taking a long walk right away. You were enjoying little by little. And when you condition yourself to be part of the, something, you were able to prolong the time. You were able to prolong the enjoyment of whatever is that. So that is called being in the flow. We found the flow. Finding the flow in anything doesn't mean spiritual, because the real spirituality is about giving up the spirituality, not adding layers in ourselves. Whatever we're doing to find the flow, being part of the flow, that itself is something, We are being part of the layer. We're part of something to be in the flow. And spirituality is about giving up all the layers. We have to eventually give up the idea of spirituality itself. So this is where the subtractive journey comes in. The dismantling of the mind comes in. And that's the way to dissolve the spirituality itself. The process, you may call it a spiritual process, because it's the subtracting the ego, subtracting the mind, subtracting the ingrained belief, subtracting the conditioning. In that sense, you can say it is a spiritual work. But the spiritual work has to dissolve the spirituality itself. This brings the person to see the truth. And when the truth is seen within, then the easy living can start. Non-conflicting life can start. The fearless life can start, without holding on to the layers. So, sorry to, burst the bubble of your spirituality or spiritual journey. Anything you add in your life and you think it's a spiritual because you have heard someone says it, See, this is when someone says it's spiritual, we associate with spirituality because the deepest longing in our lives is to be part of the spirituality, because the spirituality is highest journey in the human existence. So being part of the spirituality fuels the ego, isn't it? The ego self loves the highest journey because the ego itself is about the upgrade. Ego itself is about adding layers, and ego loves it. And when we hear, oh, it's a spiritual journey, this puts you in the spiritual journey, and we love it. Again, anything you add to become spiritual is not spiritual. You know, only thing you can, say it's a spiritual journey is when you are, dissolving the ego, deconstructing the ego to see the root cause of all the attachment, and and we have to get rid of the attachment as well, because the attachment itself is a baggage. Attachment itself is a sign of an ego clinging to be part of the highest meaning, in the highest experience in the world and in the mind. So this has to go to be free. And when you are, when you see the truth, and when the truth dissolves, the ego clinging, now that has, bring end to your spiritual journey. Again, it's end of the spiritual journey. Now the life can truly begin. Right now, our life is happening from the place of fear. Everything we're doing comes from the place of fear. Notice, if you reflect it, if you pause and reflect, why am I doing certain things in my life? Whatever we're doing, if you ask ourselves, why am I doing certain things, that asking why is gonna make you see the sign of fear. Basically the fear of non-existence, fear of being nobody, fear of the unknown. That fear is making us being part of something, and journey, the real spiritual journey, is about deconstructing again, and deconstructing helps us to dissolve the fear, dissolve the ego, and that's the way to be, live in peace. Anyway, don't try to label your journey as a spiritual, from the truth point of view, nothing is spiritual. Even the dismantling the work itself is not spiritual, but as a reference for the world, it is spiritual. So if you want to be in the spiritual journey, again, that's a reference, is about deconstructing your mind. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. Hope this video makes sense. Hope you're enjoying the tracing back work. Take care for now. See you in the next video. Bye.